boys and girls, to the treasure house. Love the Performing Arts Part 2. That's what it is. Hello? Hello? There we are. I'm here. That's where I'm at. Just wanted to let you know that I haven't gotten any responses yet on the first site, but I'm hoping this one might interest you. As you saw from the title, it's called Love the Performing Arts Part 2, Citizen Kane. I want to talk to you about, in my opinion, the greatest motion picture ever made. It's not just the greatest motion picture ever made. It's so far and away above anything else that's ever come out of the film industry that it warrants me to do this little bit of a video here. Now, Citizen Kane was, for its time, the most technically innovative film ever made. Not even The Jazz Singer, which was the first commercially released film with synced dialogue and singing to it, did what Citizen Kane did. Its use of deep focus, ceilings on sets, the way it edited from one scene to another, or even from one shot to another, was highly innovative and incredibly new and fresh. And it caught people's eye, and there's no doubt about it, it deserved to, because there had never been another film like it in that sense. But one of the things that I don't think is talked about Citizen Kane enough, and certainly the movie is talked about a lot, it's on everyone's favorite lists, and many listed as their favorite film. Many organizations, like the American Film Institute, for instance, lists it as its #1 favorite film still after all of these years. The film was released in 1941, and instantly people talked about all these technical innovations, but the thing it didn't mention is its story and its plot, and I'd like to talk to you about that today. It was the story of this small boy, about 6, 7 years old, who's taken away from his home. He has come across a great inheritance, and his parents deem it necessary for him to be moved to a surrounding that's far more appropriate for someone of such wealth. And so at this very young age, he's taken away from his home, and in essence, taken away from his life. That's sad enough as it is, because the child, like most children, have no control over what happens to him. And he is forced to live with this curmudgeon by the name of Thatcher, who, well, let's put it this way. I got to do this so this comes back up. Maybe? No? Let's put it this way. He would have fit in just about any Dickens tale. He was that kind of a character. He taught Kane about money, and that's about the only thing he taught him. Charles Foster Kane died, essentially, when he was taken away from his parents. That's the tragedy of this story. But believe it or not, the story is told in a very entertaining way, and you never really feel as though it's Macbeth, but it certainly is sad in that sense. At the end of Kane's life, just right before he dies, his last word is Rosebud. And the story is told through the eyes of reporters who are going and talking to all of these people who knew Kane to try and find out what he meant by Rosebud. Well, the audience finds out at the end, but the reporters never do. That's sad in itself, too. Reporters are guessing that it's some girlfriend or a racehorse that he bet on that didn't win. But not that at all. Not that at all. A far less material thing. Because what Rosebud meant was the last word that he spoke, he suddenly realized what it was he lost, what it was that changed his life. And he speaks this word, and this word is something in his life that meant a lot to him and becomes a symbol for this loss. Now, when I saw this movie in 1973, I was 20 years old at the time. It was the first time I saw the film. I've seen it all. I can't even count how many times since then. I sat there at the end of the film as the audience is seeing, finally, what Rosebud really was. And I'm not going to tell you what it was, in case you're one of the few people who haven't seen the movie or haven't been told by some wise ass that wants to spoil it for you. So I'm not going to tell you what Rosebud is. You have to see the film for yourself, and hopefully you'll have the same reaction that I did. But I sat there at the end, finding out what Rosebud meant, and my jaw dropped to the floor, literally. I was like this. I could not believe what I had just seen. Not only this magnificently produced, technically innovative film, but this story and this message that was so important and so wise. All I could talk about for like 2 weeks later was Citizen Kane, Citizen Kane, Citizen Kane, Citizen Kane. It was an incredible experience. I don't think I've ever seen anything in the performing arts that meant as much to me as this film. Now, it's my #1 favorite movie. But I got to tell you something. My #2 and my #3 favorite movie, as much as I love them, and they are, for in case you'd like to know, E.T. and the Oliver Stone film JFK. They sort of switch positions depending on what I'm feeling like, but they're nowhere near Citizen Kane. There's this big gap between Citizen Kane and all the rest of my favorite movies. And there probably always will be. Certainly there's never been a film come out the last 10 or 20 years that's even come close. It just absolutely grabbed me. Now, the thing that I really don't like, and I guess the real reason why I'm doing this video, is try to explain to you what I feel about some of the remarks that have been made, particularly in recent years, as the legend of the film continues to grow. You will hear critics even say this. Critics who should know better will say, oh, well, it doesn't matter what the ending is. That doesn't mean anything at all. Are they blind? What's wrong with them? That's the whole meaning of the film. And yes, it does have a meaning. And that's what's so beautiful about this film. Now, Orson Welles never did another film as good as this. But what critics don't understand is no one else has either. That must say something. Now, yes, you find out that Rosebud was something in the child's life that meant a lot to him. But that, as I said, is a symbol for what he lost, what changed him, what literally or basically killed him when he was a child. And the fact that critics and people just don't seem to understand that, I just don't know. Now, this movie is a vastly entertaining film. It moves extremely fast. And I got to tell you something. I can watch that movie now and still find things that I hadn't noticed before. The movie was made, as I said, in 1941. It's 73 years old this year. Is that right? 73? 51, 61, 71, 81, 2001, 2011, 60. 60. I hope I'm right on that. Well, I'll come back on another video and tell you if I wasn't, but 63 years old this year. And it looks like it could have been made last year. It is that fresh looking. And particularly if you get a print, and most of them that exist today are on DVD or perhaps even Blu-ray. The film may have been put out on Blu-ray by now. I don't know. I don't have the Blu-ray. I have the DVD. But if you get a chance to see this movie, see it. It is not only Orson Welles' masterpiece, but it is the film industry's masterpiece. And all I can say is, just come on the website, here, or web, whatever this is called, this page, I guess, and talk to me about it. Or talk to me about anything that you'd like to talk about. But do talk to me. Because I got to tell you, folks, you're in for a treat if you haven't seen the movie. That's all I have to say. So, come along, love the performing arts, and tell me about it.
I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you, buddy.
We'll see you, folks. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.